Hello and welcome. I'm Pratap Singh. You're joining us on our special marathon coverage as part of the Bharat Progress Report, where we are decoding for you 101 milestones that have been achieved towards building a new India by Bharat in this year itself. And we've, of course, explored various milestones already under different sectors. And now we're going to be focusing on governance and culture in this particular segment. Joining us live is Himanshu Bhatt, senior journalist. We also have Ravi Bhatt, historian, live with us on the broadcast. And now let's go straight across to the first big milestone that we're going to be looking at, milestone number 66 in this segment. And that is that Narendra Modi was sworn in this year for a third term as Prime Minister of India. Himanshu Bhatt, that was certainly, of course, a big moment with Narendra Modi, of course, being sworn in as Prime Minister for his third term. He's, of course, the second person now to take oath successively, of course, and BJP, of course, securing that 240 out of 543 seats, crossing the magic figure with the help of their NDA allies. The election was a referendum once again on Prime Minister's popularity, and he won it convincingly. What do you make of that big moment and the significance of this victory yet again for Narendra Modi?
Well, the significance of it is very, very, very clear. The path to the development, path to the developed India, the India story, the Bharat story, is likely to continue for another 5 years. And what we are talking about is, a fifth largest economy becoming the third largest, maybe even the second largest, by the end of his tenure of 5 years. And that is what I'm looking at. Modi's coming back to power is a saga which nobody anticipated, maybe let's say 15 years ago. People never thought that Narendra Modi will come up, a chaiwala will become a prime minister. Yes, I know Narendra Bhai and I understand that. But then, his perseverance, along with it, people might not talk about it, but the respect that Bharat has gained, the journey of India from India to Hindustan to Bharat is taking place. The transformation of India into Bharat, culturally, as a soft power and as a hard power too, is taking place during this time. And in all this, when we talk of it, Narendra Bhai Modi sitting at the top chair for the third time consecutively is a very, very, very significant milestone. Probably this year's biggest milestone of the year. And that will progress India. Now today, by the end of 2024, we are more than 4 trillion plus economy. And I'm quite sure, much before the anticipated target of 2027, by the beginning of 2026, we will cross a 5 trillion. And that is what Narendra Modi aspired for, because he has envisioned Bharat in 2047.
All right. So all of that, of course, will be part of this third term's achievements, is what you're clearly saying, and vision. Let me quickly draw up then milestone number 67. Now, milestone number 67 is, of course, a very, very significant one as well, because it was the fact that India launched a one nation, one subscription model this year and scheme this year for triple access to academic journals. So this is also something very, very important, because, of course, it is now going to provide easy access to academic journals, a game changer, of course, for 1.6 crore students, of course, across the country, who now will have this access. A 6,000 crore, of course, initiative by the government, and in phase 1, state-funded higher education institutions have, of course, been given the clear focus. In phase 2, the program will be extended to private academic institutions as well. And phase 3 will, of course, grant universal access to all students across the country. Quickly, now drawing up milestone number 68, and this is the fact that Jammu and Kashmir celebrated the Constitution Day for the first time in history. So, the first time in history, Constitution Day was celebrated in Jammu and Kashmir this year itself. And you can, of course, see a picture there of the Lieutenant Governor of the Union Territory and the Chief Minister as well. The first such event in Jammu and Kashmir since 1947 to take place. Before the abrogation of Article 370, remember J&K of course had its own constitution and flag on October, in October of course, Chief Minister Omar Abdullah and Jammu and Kashmir Lieutenant Governor together celebrated this particular day. Ravi Bhatt, let me quickly draw you in here on the significance of that event according to you. Jammu and Kashmir celebrating Constitution Day for the first ever time since 1947. Also, one nation, one subscription. How big a game changer is that for students and academics?
See, first of all, I'll say when it comes to the issue of the Kashmir issue, where they have the celebration of the Constitution Day, this is the most important milestone in the heart of all the Indians. Cutting across the party, all the people, they believe that the Kashmir is an integral part of the India. They have been feeling it, but it was like a wound. That's like people were feeling it. Technically, it was practically, it was our country, part of our country. Technically, it was there, but still there was something, which was, gnawing at the soul of each and every Indian, with the kind of a thing that Jammu and Kashmir had their own flag, they had their own, the set of rules and regulation, and that was separating them a bit from the rest of the India. And it was everyone was uncomfortable, slightly, consciously or subconsciously, whether he is educated, uneducated, any person. And that BJP had always, I'm not talking of the party, but the ruling party has always promised that we'll do that. And they had delivered. They made it to the part of absolutely the way we Indians wanted. It has become the same part of India. And everyone felt so proud of it. We feel so good about it. And a single person, I'll repeat again, all section of the Indian society, Indians, they celebrated, maybe not in the masses, but in their heart they celebrated. And they felt very comfortable. So that is the one thing which is admired by everyone, and now we feel it. That's just like I can go to Gujarat, I can go to the Karnataka, I can go to the Madhya Pradesh.
Absolutely, and one nation, one subscription as well.
Yes. So this is the significance of that, and we celebrate. And let me tell you, this is the one issue on which every Indian is feeling much more relieved and comfortable. And that's one thing. And this has brought mentally, it has broken our mental state also.
Absolutely. I know. I'd like you now to weigh in on the one nation, one subscription as well. That's also a big scheme.
Nothing like it. Nothing like it. It's a game changer in our education and cultural scene. It's a game changer. Now everything is absolutely clear, and this will take our academic field much ahead than that what has been like a practice earlier. As I said, it's not only game changer, it's going to change the mindset of our people also. It's going to the academician who had been divided. Now there's no scope, there's no room for them to divide it and talk in the different compartments. Now everything in one go, in one direction, the entire academic field will go, and that will go leap and bounds.
Okay. Let me quickly now apprise our viewers with the next big milestone that was achieved this year, number 69, and that is that the Ram Temple in Ayodhya was inaugurated this year. There, of course, is the Prime Minister Narendra Modi performing the Pran Pratishtha of the Ram Mandir, and that's something that also happened in January earlier this year. It's, of course, very, very significant. The Prime Minister, of course, presiding over the consecration ceremony there of that temple for Lord Ram. BJP, of course, referring to this temple construction as being something that they had spoken about in their manifesto for many, many years. Remember, of course, it was built after the Apex Court finally ended the dispute over the Ram Janmabhoomi, and of course the Grand Ram Temple was opened earlier this year as well. So Ram Lalla now is Birajman, Himanshu Bhatt, in this Grand Temple there, which was officially inaugurated earlier this year with the Pran Pratishtha ceremony.
Well, with the Pran Pratishtha, this is one of the biggest event of the generation. Because when I was
Yes, yes, clearly, of course. Interestingly, Ravi Bhatt there, Himanshu saying not just biggest milestone of the year, but also possibly of this generation. Do you agree?
Hello.
Yes,
Can I
Ravi ji.
continue?
The Ram Mandir inauguration, your views?
Yeah, I tell you, fortunately, I mean, right now I'm in there only, and near the Ram Temple only. I'm
Okay.
talking from there only, participating from there only. I know this is, see, after the means of survival, the closest thing to mankind is a religion. You know, the first is and the religion is so close even at times. You know that that is a religion gives you the strength. A religion gives you the power. Religion gives you when you're under crisis, and then you find that everything is that going against you, and that is the time when the religion gives you the power and strength to go ahead and struggle against all the odds of life. And this is where our religion has taken a backseat. Sanatan Dharma was not given that much importance as it should have been given. And even the political parties were ruling, they were, they are subconsciously or consciously, I mean, they were undermining the Sanatan Dharma, in the name of the secular country. But this is the first time the ruling party has given the full importance to our great tradition of Sanatan Dharma. It has given its due, and as a result, even all the Indians, they feel proud of it. Now today you walk a street, whether it's a Delhi, Bombay, or a backwater cities, small cities. You go to the very tehsil level. You go to a small district in a remote. Every single person, they are vocal about it. Yes, this is the religion. Like you go to Europe, where the Christianity is there. They openly say, yes, our nation is a Christian nation, and they celebrate it. The same thing has happened in India also. Now it is not one the religion of the illiterate people. They do it like Christmas has been celebrated in India like with much more fanfare. But now even the Hindu festivals, Sanatan festival, they are celebrated with the same spirit, with the same high spirit they are celebrated, and people don't hide it.
Absolutely.
Don't
Absolutely.
people
That's
are not
significant. That's significant. The fact that you're also speaking to us on this achievement of Ayodhya, from Ayodhya itself, very close to the Ram Mandir, as you're telling us. Okay, let's go across now to milestone number 70. That is that Uttarakhand has become the first Indian state now to pass the Uniform Civil Code. So UCC passed in Uttarakhand this year itself, and remember, it of course becomes the first Indian state to pass this. It happened earlier this year in February 2024 by the Dhami government. They had implemented their UCC before the Lok Sabha elections. It was part of their manifesto as well. Remember, of course, UCC brings about a common law for, of course, divorce, other disputes across religions, of course, and of course across sects. Himanshu Bhatt, clearly, of course, a very, very significant decision implemented by the Uttarakhand government this year itself. UCC, Uniform Civil Code, the first state in India to do so.
First state in the India to do so, and one of the core promises of the present ruling dispensation. They said about abrogation of Article 35A in 370 in Kashmir. They did so in 2019. They talked about Ram Mandir. They constructed Ram Mandir this year, one in a generation event. And they said Uniform Civil Code for everybody. The beginning of it is done from the Uttarakhand. It's a Deva Bhumi, as they call it. And starting from Uttarakhand, it will percolate down to all other states. And this is the beginning which required for a country like India with a population of 140 crores. Otherwise, political parties and certain Western elements will take advantage of us on breaking us on the name of caste, creed, religion, and other things. But when you have a UCC, all women have a simple, direct access to the similar things irrespective of their religion or the faith they believe in. Now, in that sense, when you look at the laws like UCC, when implemented in Devbhoomi, from Devbhoomi it will come down, go to the west, go to the east, percolate down the country, every other place. And this is going to happen in progression, you see, in the year of 2025 and 26. And this UCC business will be the state-run business. One after another state will implement this UCC and the provisions of UCC with the difference, and you will find this uniformity in Indian culture. And that is what is required, and that is what Sanatan called for, Uday.
Yes. Okay, let me quickly now bring up milestone number 71, and that is the fact, of course, that CA, Citizenship Amendment Act, has been implemented on 11th of March 2024. It was something, of course, it was passed earlier by Parliament. It's now come into effect from March 2024. So CA, of course, also now being implemented, of course, by the Union Home Ministry, and it grants eligibility, of course, for Indian citizenship to be granted, of course, to minorities from Pakistan, Afghanistan, and of course also other surrounding countries. They can, of course, who've entered before a certain date, be eligible for it. It's, of course, for Sikhs, Christians, Buddhists, Hindus, Jains to be granted this, of course, and it is very, very significant. Again, something that was on the manifesto of the current BJP government, something that was implemented by them earlier this year. Number 72, the milestone, the Indian Penal Code was replaced with the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. So the BNS coming in place of the IPC earlier this year. Archaic laws from the British era being replaced by Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita earlier this year. This move, of course, is a big shift for, of course, big shift forward from statutes, of course, of earlier times, and now, of course, also there is stricter penalty for certain crimes, also, of course, judgments now to be fast tracked as well under this, and also charges must be framed within that 60 day period of their framing in the first place against any person. Let me quickly go across now to Ravi Bhatt to get his take. Ravi Bhatt, two big moves made by the government this year. One on Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, so out with IPC, in with BNS, and also the CA, Citizenship Amendment Act, finally seeing the light of day with its implementation earlier this year in March as well. The significance of both these decisions, according to you?
See, first of all, I'll say about the change of IPC with Dand Sanhita. The reason is, that the laws framed by the Britishers, they were basically to rule over the Indian subjects, and they were very oppressive, and they made in such a way that exceptional power was given to the agencies who were responsible for executing them. In this case, the police, I'm especially talking about, and the judiciary. Now, in that, basically their aim was not to deliver the good to the society or do something good for the society. There was how to oppress the general people and how to control them. So this was required from, for the last 70 years it was required. And every person, each and every person who has, whether he was he has done the LLB or not, whether he has done the masters in law or not, or whether if he has a brush with the law, where any person, even commoner on the street, he had a feeling that we must change these archaic laws, and that is what was required. It was a long pending, demand also in India, and which government addressed. I'm knowing very well. Even judiciary knew it very well. Even the lawyers knew it very well. Even the prosecutors knew, everyone knew that it required change, but no one had the guts to change it because that requires lot of thinking, lot of time, and no one was mentally ready for it. Well,
Yes.
they said throw everything
Absolutely.
chalta
No, no,
hai.
very important indeed. Okay, let's quickly now draw up milestone number 73 achieved this year, and that is the 35 years of insurgency in Tripura ended with the signing of the Tripura Peace Accord this year itself. So that, of course, a big milestone for the Northeast. So many years of insurgency, 35 years, in fact, coming to an end earlier this year. And the grand, of course, the armed groups, of course, had pledged to lay down their arms to, of course, end this violence. The center also, of course, agreeing for a package for their upliftment. Remember, of course, the sheer amount of arms being laid down and coming back to the mainstream was very, very significant, and it all happened earlier this year. Let's quickly now throw up milestone number 74. That is that the Prime Minister inaugurated the new campus of the historic Nalanda University as well, and that's a picture of Narendra Modi, of course, at that historic occasion. So a new campus of the Nalanda University being inaugurated this year, of course, by Prime Minister Modi. The campus was established as a collaborative effort, of course, between us and the East Asia University as well. And remember, of course, the Nalanda University dates back to many, many, many decades ago. It's one of the world's top most beg your pardon, residential universities. And Himanshu Bhatt, this inauguration of this new campus of this Nalanda University, very, very important development, isn't it? Also coupled together with a big moment for the Northeast, the Tripura Peace Accord being signed this year as well.
Well, two sentences for Nalanda. It is joining us. It is taking us back to our cultural and soft roots, the roots of education, which were very, very prevalent. And after 1947, madrasas were allowed to function. Churches were allowed to run the convents, but gurukulas were not done so. And that is what, is the significance when we talk of Nalanda and Takshashila. They were the core centers of Bharatiya Indian education. And when they are revived, it gives a message to the world that we are up back again and we will provide the leadership qualities which were expected of us again. And now when I talk of Tripura, it was something, long overdue. Long overdue when you suppress someone, when you look at someone, nowhere for 75 years, and you don't consider them as one of you, this is what takes place. And that is where insurgencies had come up in many states of northeastern region. But now, with their upliftment and with the development of Northeast, people have started realizing that they are a part of Bharat and they will progress as the Bharat progress. So they are willing to lay their arms down and join in this celebration of Bharatiyata and the development that Bharat is undergoing. Uday.
Absolutely. Let me, in fact, also now quickly throw up the next big milestone that happened this year, milestone number 75. In fact, Bengali, Marathi, Pali, Prakrit, and Assamese were all given the status of classical languages. So a big step forward, of course, for in terms of culture, in terms of our history, in terms of our languages. With these languages, of course, being given that important status, it's of course a very important step forward in recognition of our heritage. Remember, of course, these have been, of course, the very important languages for India. These languages, of course, have now been recognized by the Government of India and taken forward for promotion. Let me quickly take that across to you, Ravi Bhatt. What does this mean to have now these languages like Marathi, Bengali to be included and given the status of classical languages?
See, I tell you, this issue is very close to my heart, very close to my heart. Because that's what is culture. When we talk about heritage, culture, heritage, most of the people are confused what is culture. Culture is what? Culture is anything is culture to the extent human efforts are involved into it. Like clay is not culture, but by clay, when you make a pottery, it becomes culture. Cotton is not culture; it is an organic thing. But when you make a fabric out of it, it becomes the culture. Now, the language is the first unit of any culture. Any culture. Now, and we let us understand one basic things very, very clearly that uh, any society develops on the basis of the knowledge, and knowledge is invariably gained by language, and it is the mother tongue which gives you the best understanding. And language, when you use a local language or a regional language, we call it, or the native language, a regional language, when you use it, the masses, the people who had been wasting their time only in mastering the language of some other continent, if they learn something in their own language, they easily learn. Number two, people, they have the access of it. Now, see, what happened when the English language is there, we have been deprived of the bankers, best of soldiers, best of officers, because we always screen people's talent through the language. And during the Mughal period, we screen it through the Farsi and Urdu, right? So people from Maharashtra, people from the Bengal, people from the Karnataka, they were they were handicapped. The same way
Absolutely,
when
Ravi Bhatt.
English
No,
has
that's a
come.
very important point made by you on why language plays such an important role. Okay, let's quickly now draw up milestone number 76, and that is that the first Indian Maritime Heritage Conclave was organized this year itself. And what makes the India Maritime Heritage Conclave so significant? As you can, of course, see there, it was held in the national capital earlier this year, and the Vice President of India, Jagdeep Dhankar, had inaugurated it. It, of course, is talking about India's rich maritime legacy since the Harappan era. It, of course, hopes to make, also envisages to make India a leading maritime player moving forward. And, of course, it spoke about creating employment opportunities in this very crucial sector as well. Let's quickly move forward to milestone number 77, and that is that India conducted the first elections in Jammu and Kashmir post abrogation of Article 370 this year as well. Himanshu Bhatt, significant moment, wasn't that? The conducting of these first elections in J&K post the abrogation of Article 370, the fact that there was such a high turnout as well for the first time since it became a union territory as well, and of course the fact that finally the voters of J&K spoke in this democratic manner, and of course are seeing now an elected government in power. That coupled with the Maritime Heritage Conclave significance as well.
Yes. See, Jammu and Kashmir, the world saw what democratically the people of Jammu and Kashmir, the way they voted, the misconceptions of the past. There were people who were talking about, if you remove 370, there will be rivers of blood. That is what some people were talking about. Did that happen? The entire world saw free and fair election being conducted in Jammu and Kashmir. People voted according to their wish, I would say. And it was just one of the states of India like Gujarat, Rajasthan, Maharashtra, or Jammu and Kashmir. See, this illusion that people were fed with, that Jammu and Kashmir is something special. No, sir. We are all the states of India. We are all the states of Bharat, and everyone is equal. So you take your equal opportunities, and other states will also do that. Now, when you look at Jammu and Kashmir's elections, there were so many people on so many quarters talking about this election will be mad with blood and there will be this. But did anything happen? Nothing happened. Nothing transpired. And the journey of India's democracy and the strongness of Indian democracy and the belief of people, including that of Jammu and Kashmir, in democratic values, all the more became very, very strong. And when you talk of maritime legacy, Mr. Uday, let me remind you, it was during the, when Bharat was a maritime superpower, that our trade had reached all corners of the globe with what I read and what I understand, with a 40 to 45 trillion economy. That was the golden era of Bharatvarsh. They talked about Indian subcontinent, not in the present shape of Bharat, but we are talking in terms of few thousand years ago.
All right. Himanshu Bhatt and Ravi Bhatt, appreciate you both joining us on the broadcast with your perspective on this big story and our, of course, milestones in this particular segment. We've run out of time, but we are going to be back with more milestones, of course, as our marathon coverage continues. Don't go anywhere. For now, though, slipping into a very short break.